found something.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Go ahead and state your name.
Should I look into there?
Yeah.
Okay, should I turn this one off then? If it's
No. Well, you're looking at either one.
Look at
Should I just put it behind it then?
Just be natural.
Yeah, I would look at him because that's what they always tell me on cameras. Don't look right into the camera, look to the side.
Okay.
She's used to cameras. Okay, go ahead and state your name.
Hardesty.
Okay. Now, Allie, you have something going on. It seems like it's something paranormal. And I did a little research on you, and I hope you don't mind, but looking at your background, I noticed that you're a YouTube star. And in some of your videos, you went to some haunted places. Do you feel like you have an attachment?
I'm not sure. I think it's a possibility.
Okay. Now, what's been happening to you that's been kind of freaking you out?
In this apartment?
Yeah.
When I first moved in, I've had a couple experiences with this, but one in particular that really stood out to me. I have one of those Alexa speakers where if you say Alexa, she will respond and you can tell her to play music and such. And one time she just went off completely by herself and she said, "Heaven is spelled Heaven," and then shut off. And I was on the phone with somebody and they heard this too because it was on speaker, but neither of us were speaking, no one was in the house, and so it just did that on its own. And it's gone off several times on its own before like that, but that one was like really scary because of what it said. And then I have one of those spin brushes that like takes off your makeup in the shower, and I ended up throwing this out because it went off so many times by itself, and you have to like press a button, and the batteries in it weren't even really working anymore. I needed to change them. But when I would be like out in the kitchen or in my room, it would like randomly start vibrating and going off by itself, and I'd have to go in there and turn it off. And one time it even happened when I was like in the bath. And so that was really unexplainable. I've heard noises late at night, and I will hear somebody like running on the ceiling, but I live in a one-story apartment. And I'm trying to think, oh, obviously the Polaroid photo as well.
Okay, can you explain the Polaroid photo?
So I had just got a Polaroid, my friend gave me one, and I was trying to figure out how to work it because it was kind of having some difficulties. And so I took a photo of my friend who was sitting right there, and then it didn't come out, it didn't work, so I took the photo again of my other friend who was like in the same spot, and it came out double exposed. And then we noticed that in the background there was what appeared to be a little girl sitting in that chair right there near the corner of my living room.
Now, I looked at the photo and I blew it up, and I saw the little girl, and she's like laughing. It's real weird. Are you familiar with who the girl might be?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Now, have you ever had any paranormal experiences before?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
What were they?
I went to the Byron Hotel. It's in Byron. It's like an abandoned hotel that burned down years ago. And I used to go there with my friends and do bonfires. And one time I could like sense that something bad was going to happen. And I started freaking out and I wanted to leave, and none of my friends would listen to me or leave. And my phone like kind of like moved on the floor by itself. Like it like just, I don't know if it like levitated or if it just like slid by itself. And it was slight, but it was enough to like freak me out. And I was like, we need to leave. And then finally my friends like were like, okay, let's go, because some like man came in and it was really strange, and like he had a weapon and just emerged out of the darkness, and they're like, okay, we can leave. And then stuff started falling from the ceiling like full force, and like almost hit my friend in the head. And then we found this like bloody stick, and it was like fresh blood, and it wasn't the guy because we saw him leave, but no one else was in there with us. And the first time I also went to that hotel, I saw a ghost. Like I saw a little girl running through the corridors.
Was this the first haunted place that you ever been to? Byron Hotel?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah? Now, possibly something could have followed you maybe from the Byron Hotel to here?
It's possible, but that experience was a long time ago, so I feel like
ago.
it'd be something more recent, yeah.
Okay. And what's been going on most recent? Because I saw some of your videos and you were at some haunted places. So where were those places at?
I also went to a haunted slaughterhouse, which is in like the Antioch, Brentwood, Byron area as well. And I used to do the Ouija board, which is not very good. And I also did the Ouija board at the slaughterhouse once.
And where was the haunted slaughterhouse?
It's in the same area as the Byron Hotel, like Brentwood, Antioch, Bay Area.
Okay, Antioch, okay. And it's funny that you mentioned Antioch, because Antioch has a place over there in which they say is a portal to hell. So a lot of people, they have misfortune when they go over there. It's off an abandoned street, and there's a lot of graffiti there and stuff like that. And I said, as you walk up the trail, it's a portal to hell.
That's where we were. The slaughterhouse is right there.
Is that?
I just got chills.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I drove past it, but I didn't stop, and I had a funny feeling when I was there.
Yeah, Hell's Gates, right?
Hell's
Yeah.
Gate. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hell's Gate. So you were there. Okay. Some people. It's funny that you mentioned Hell's Gate, because they say that at Hell's Gate, a lot of times you can be followed by a demon.
Ooh.
So, so maybe that's where your problem originates from. Huh. Okay, so after Hell's Gate, did anything start happening?
I'm not too sure on the exact timing, but I did have some paranormal experiences in my last apartment, which was in Reading, like an hour and a half away, especially towards right before I moved. And I think the spin brush happened maybe once or twice there, and similar things with like my Alexa speaker. I also have a light up mirror where it's like motion censored, so when you get close to it, it'll light up. And I remember it lit up by itself a few times, but I didn't pick up too much on it because it was only like a few times before I moved. And then here, like all this stuff started happening a ton. But one time, or I think a few times, I would go out into the living room in the morning, like open my bedroom door, and all the cabinets would be open, things like that.
Okay. And in Reading, while you were at Reading, you're very close to Mount Shasta. Did you go over there?
I've been there a few times, yeah.
And a few times, did you pick up on anything, or?
I'm not necessarily, no.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because that's a very mystical mountain, and people have strange experiences over there too. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, now have you seen the entity in this home?
I don't think I've directly seen anything other than the Polaroid, but there was one time where I thought I saw something over here. Like, it didn't really like look like a figure, like a person, but it looked like a ghost type of thing over by the couch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And have you been touched, pushed, attacked, assaulted, or anything by this entity?
In my old apartment, there was one experience where I was on the phone laying down on my bed and my hair was swept over my face.
Okay.
And there was no wind, the fan wasn't on, it just went over my face. And I think there might have been a time or two where I was like laying in bed and like I felt like something touched me, but I didn't look too into it around that time because that was before a lot of this stuff started happening. But the most recent thing I would say was like 3 weeks ago. This is when it was like really bad, about 3 weeks ago, because there will be periods where like a lot happens or it's kind of quiet, and this was like a really bad period for like a week. And I had a dream where I met the little girl and her name was Isabella. And then there was like 2 decaying women in the background, and she said they were like her grandmothers, and they were like dying and in the dream. And then they followed her and she followed me into my room, and then I woke up and it was kind of like an out-of-body experience dream. It wasn't like a normal dream. I woke up and I was convinced to, because in the dream I started recording it because I was thinking like no one's gonna believe me, and I recorded it, and then I tried to send it to my friend, the one who got in contact with you, and then I tried to upload it to my laptop so I'd save it because I know that sometimes footage can get deleted and that sort of thing. And then when I woke up from the dream, it felt so real and it was like so crazy. The first thing I did was check to see if I had the footage from the dream. It just didn't even feel like a dream. It was really crazy.
Wow. Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to walk around here. We're going to try to get some EVPs. We're going to take some pictures, lots of pictures, see if we can get some anomalies in the photographs. And we're going to do a cleansing. So I'm going to do a Roman Catholic type cleansing. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Deanna, she's going to do a metaphysical type cleansing. So what I'm going to do is I'll interview the 2 investigators and Deanna and talk about what we're going to do today. So
Awesome.
That's the next thing to do. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's
So if I
switch
can-
places.